Hello and welcome to the 79th edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew and joined tonight by Ray. Hello, Ray. How are you doing, buddy?
Good evening, Andrew.
Well, Ray and I were just hanging out the other day, face to face, talking, and actually together. Usually we're on this podcast stuff over the internet, and we don't get to see each other and hang out and all that, but we just recently had the Philadelphia Podcast Festival, which was so much fun. The Skyrim Addict podcast was the actual podcast invited, but the Fallout Feed tagged along too, and we sort of dragged on some coattails, and we got to hang out and meet everybody. It was so fun, Ray. What were a couple of your main impressions and a few takeaways from this weekend?
That was an awesome time. The Pod Festival was interesting to see some podcasts that would otherwise never have even thought to come across. Some of them were a little over the top, but definitely a lot of fun. And it's kind of interesting. You always wonder, you talk to people online and don't really know them, but everybody was just who you would think they would be. Everybody was cool, laid back, having a good time, and it was a blast to get to meet everybody.
Yeah, it was a really good time. We did our shows at Tattooed Mom on South Street in Philadelphia. It was a really good time. There were 3 or 4 other podcasts that we were on the bill with, and we enjoyed all of them. Again, some of them were a little over the top. Some of them were a little more interactive. Some of them were, I don't know, it's just a really good time. And it's a good display of all the different varieties and of everything that can go on in the podcasting world. And everyone was super friendly. Everyone was super nice and super excited about podcasting. So that's really nice to be involved in that sort of environment where, on the internet where so many people can tear you down at every turn, where this environment is just very supportive and open, and everyone was very into helping each other's podcasts and exchanging numbers and emails and doing all the Twitter support and everything. So it was very cool. I had a really good time, and I suggest anyone in the area next year, please. We're hoping to do it again, so come on out, check us out, hang out, have fun, and talk with us at the Philadelphia Podcast Festival. Good times. All right, so this week on the Fallout Feed, we've got a lot of feedback to get to. The feedback we'll be checking in with this week is for the quests. The Grand Tour, we're finishing that up with Star Control in Nuka World, and also Home Sweet Home, which is sort of the raider side of the Nuka World closure. I didn't get to do that because I immediately killed all the raiders upon stepping foot inside the park. And I know, Ray, you said you had to redo it in some fashion. So why don't we go ahead and check in with you, Ray? Why don't you give us a little bit of feedback on what you had to do there with your Home Sweet Home redo?
Yeah, so after leaving Nuka World to head out into the Commonwealth, this was the first time I had done anything with the Nuka World. I hadn't done any of these quests, so I just kind of went into it blind, just to see what would happen. And everything was going along great. I went to County Crossing and got ran off the Minutemen and the settlers that lived there, and then got called back to Nuka World to talk to Shank again, where he told me about these raiders that were pissed off that I was moving in, and then I needed to go take care of them. So went out and found out that these are really, really high-level, tough raiders, and they cleaned my clock. So definitely had to go in with a different plan going back into it. So this time I replayed it. I went to the Starlight Drive-In, and instead of heading right back to Nuka World, I spent a little bit of time fortifying it and turned this thing into an absolute fortress. when I dropped in a ton of junk that I had collected. I had parts to build 17 turrets,
Oh,
so I
nice.
did.
Attaboy.
So they were everywhere. I
Yeah.
didn't have any idea where they were going to come in at. So I just made sure I had all my bases covered, made all kinds of choke points, and and still it was a heck of a fight. Those guys are just constantly um, jamming the stim packs. You watch their, you know, since I wasn't really having to be occupied by the fight, I sat back and watched their health bars, and you could see them. They'd go down and then shoot right back up, and go down and shoot right back up.
Oh, yeah.
And
What was the cause
uh,
of that? Are they stem packing themselves, you assume, or
yeah,
how?
yeah,
What's
yeah.
going on
So
there?
they were shooting themselves with stim packs.
Wow. And this is the fight that everyone was saying that they had to like do a bunch of times. There's like a one really badass tough raider, and then
Yeah,
like
it's Sinner's
two
level 69.
power,
I think we discovered last week. A couple of people in the power armor, a couple of more with them.
two
Um,
assistants. Yeah.
yeah, so it was definitely a good one. But I was standing. I had built a set of barricades with some shipping containers, so I was standing on the other side with turrets up on top, taking them out, and
Good
I
idea.
was just lobbing grenades over the wall.
Ah, that's brilliant. You prevent them from even walking in. Put the
Yep.
semi trailer there. Yeah. Great idea.
So, um, so I had also prepped to be able to do the speech option too. So Pat had mentioned the Great Mentat, so I made a couple of doses of that, but um, thought I'd give the fight the first chance since Maximilian's a raider through and through.
Yeah.
Um, so finally that turned out in my favor. I moved Shank out there to Starlight Drive-In, and then he told me that there weren't any settlements close enough by to be able to do a food supply. So I had to go gather a bunch of food and dump it into my workbench, and that seemed to satisfy the food meter.
So I don't understand. There wasn't food close enough, so you couldn't plant food.
Well, no, you can't plant food because the raiders won't tend the crops
Oh,
themselves.
farm. Okay.
Yeah, they don't want to do any of the work. So there has to be a farm close enough by, but evidently Abernathy Farm and the Grey Garden just weren't close enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but I was able to just dump a bunch of food items into the workbench.
And that was
That
enough
took
one.
care of it.
Last them a few days at least.
Yeah.
Nice. That's
So,
fun. I need to go back through Nuka World and play through it as a raider at some point and do all this other stuff. So you're about to say sorry?
well, so since I had gone to the trouble of making those great mentats, the next two settlements, Oberlin Station and County Crossing, I just convinced them it would be in their best interest to leave, and so I talked them off their land.
That there's a +5 charisma or whatnot there. There's a good, nice, powerful boost in your convincing skills. Get off
Yep.
your land. Get out of here. I'm taking some grape drugs, and that gives me the power to say, get the F off your own land and leave. Don't look back anymore. Get out of here. Don't come back. That's nice.
And so one of my assigned perks was Fortune Finder, and at this point, I took the fourth rank of Fortune Finder.
You just must be filthy rich. I stopped at 2, Ray, because I was just like, I don't need more than 15,000 caps, you know?
Well, I don't either, but so the one thing that I had never done, because I've never needed that much in caps, so I've never used it. But in rank 4, you get that exploding caps. So when you kill somebody, there's a chance that they'll explode into a shower of caps.
That is pretty fun. I do have to.
It's kind of hilarious.
No, that is great. I haven't cashed that in, but I might have to just I have a few extra perks sitting around. I always had to leave a few in my back pocket in case, like, oh wait, right now in the situation I need this perk, and if that situation ever arises, I can always have a perk in my back pocket if need be. But yeah, so I've got a few extra. I might have to take that just so I can see people like explode into a shower of.
Yeah, I still haven't figured out how much you get, but the animation's fun.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Does it at least fall into a collectible pile so you don't have to go walk around collecting individual caps?
No, I think it just goes right into your inventory.
It goes into that's perfect.
Because I couldn't find it laying around on the ground anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, and at some point you just don't even notice how many caps you have anyway. So
no, you don't.
Unless you're going to buy the mantis greave or whatever that thing is called. I don't even remember. The super expensive ones.
Oh yeah.
God, Lucas, is that his name? Lucas Miller? No. The guy who sells
the
stuff.
Traveling merchant.
Yeah, who walks between like I don't know, the slog. No, it doesn't go to the slog.
Yeah, those traders go everywhere.
Yeah, they go all over the damn place. Someone has them memorized. I was like, oh gosh, I have no idea. Yeah, so that's awesome, Ray. Do you have any other
Yep, so that pretty much took care of that quest. Then I got word that the operators were revolting, so I'll have to go take care of them.
So what happens? I mean, that's not just the end of the DLC. Is it just sort of a Radiant quest then after that? Can you just take over the whole Commonwealth at that point? Is that basically what it lets you do at the end?
Yeah, you can keep taking settlements. And when you get to 8, then you get to the 3rd rank of Wasteland Warlord or whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
And so I started building some of the raidery stuff in my settlement, and unfortunately, one of the things that you can build to increase their happiness is the radio that plays that red eye radio. Oh my god, that guy's annoying.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Yes.
It's real bad. I don't know why it bugs me so. Oh goodness. So what else can you build raider wise that's different than, because I've never really built anything. There's a tab in the build menu now for all the raider junk. I've never really used it. Is it just basically sort of like bloody gross stuff, heads on spikes and all that sort of thing?
Well, there's a lot of stuff in there. So I built a couple of booze stills.
That produces like happiness and stuff then too, right?
Yep. And then also a chem station.
Okay, that's fun.
And when I got my 3rd settlement, that brings you up to rank 2. And at that point, then you can start building your different merchant stalls only on the raider side.
And so, how are those different?
Well, mostly because they've got skulls hanging off of them and spikes.
But the merchandise itself is
seems to be pretty standard.
Seems standardized. Okay. Well, that's fun.
So yeah, just started playing with that. So have to see what comes of that.
That'll be cool. Yeah, no. Again, I need to go back and play through some Nuka World as the raider side, so I can get a better idea of that. I think I have a character who is just about done with Nuka World, but I haven't gone back out into the Commonwealth yet, so I could just use that character. It's one that I'm using for a play along of Nuka World that I started freaking forever ago, but I can totally take that character back out into the Commonwealth and
Yeah.
And I got to take a Preston Garvey with me as my follower. I wonder how long it'll take him before he's like, oh man, screw this, I'm out.
Well, yeah, when you get a message, when you take the first settlement,
Yeah.
um, that he hates it and is mad at you.
I bet. I bet he's not a real big fan of that.
Yeah.
Oh, you remember all that places that we rescued and saved and took all that time doing, Preston? Oh yeah, I'm taking those over again, buddy. Here I come, my army of elephant faced guys, just the whole pack with me. Oh, that's great. That's awesome. So thanks for the good feedback there, right? We'll go ahead and check in with Leon, who was on the show a couple episodes ago. Leon always sends us some really good stuff, some really thoughtful. Um, when he was on the show, I was real impressed with how he sort of like not just playing the game, but also was like really thoughtful about the strategy and angles and how he was going to go about his stuff. So, thanks a lot, Leon, for submitting feedback all season long, and it's always been really good. So, let's check in with Leon.
Good day, this is Leon from Texas playing Olivia for the Roundtable Episode 5 finale and wrap up. Now that the parks were in Olivia's hands, Gage said she should talk to Shank, who then told her that they needed to take over the Commonwealth. Olivia grinned as this is what she had planned and agreed. First, she hit the old red rocket near Sanctuary. It was technically hers, but she had never used it, so the operators were a little disappointed not to have a fight. Oh well. She then went and found Abernathy Farm. How had she missed that? I'd actually avoided it on purpose. And persuaded them to supply her. She cleared out some mole rats from an old drive-in and gave it to the disciples. And Outpost Zemoja went to the operators. When she then got back to Shank after the Zemoja hit, he told her she needed to go back to Nuka World ASAP, as the pack had turned on her. Ha! She knew this would eventually happen. Now she could freely kill them, especially that idiot Mason. Quickly relaying back to Nuka World, she was attacked as she arrived, but Olivia made short work of all the attackers, especially with Kate helping her. As she headed towards the power plant, after annoying Nisha by comparing the gangs to kids, a little bit of needling just for the fun of it, she agreed Mason would die. After a drawn-out gun battle in the plant, Olivia fried Mason with righteous authority and turned on the powerful. Beautiful. Reminds me of the Dead Money DLC with the Turn on the Power in the Park versus the Sierra Madre. Thanks again, Pat, for that playthrough, by the way. At the end of the round table, Olivia is level 58 with a strength of 6, perception 7, endurance 5, charisma 8, initiative 5, agility 2, and luck of 7. Her perks are Big Leagues 1. I didn't put a lot of points in that, even though it was one of my rolled ones, simply because I tend to play melee, so I was avoiding that. Armor 4, Strong Back 4, Locksmith 3, Kim Resistant 2, Aqua Girl 1, Black Widow 1, Local Leader 2, Party Girl 3, Inspirational 2, Medic 1, Scrapper 3, Science 4, Commando 5, Bloody Mess 3, Mysterious Stranger 1, Better Criticals 3, and Critical Banker 4. So, she is the undisputed overboss. She is soon to be the director of the Institute, and thanks to the sim from Lorenzo, she is immortal. Well, unaging anyways, as long as she keeps access to the serum. She plans to rule the Commonwealth with an iron fist in a velvet glove. Above ground, the operators will be her main force, with the disciples as terror attacks and assassins. The Institute will slowly work sense into the gangs to watch them and eventually to replace all the leaders. Safari Zone with all the cages will become a new slave trading area, with the scents slowly being bled into them so they can spread throughout the wasteland. Anyone who fights will be hit by the gangs and sense until they crumble. Kate will be Olivia's leader in Nuka World. Curie will be in charge of the Institute. Olivia will find out the recall code for Curie's synth body and then delete all reference to it. That way she can hold that over Curie if need be. As a side project, Curie will also be specifically investigating the serum in case Lorenzo proves difficult. However, Olivia will be trying to work with him, helping him acquire whatever he needs for his own experiments. Olivia will put Diamond City off limits to raider attacks and use the synths and gangs to start wiping out the super mutants. In exchange, Piper will keep an eye on the overall Commonwealth and will be given any medical and food that her or her sister need. So Diamond City will still be free, but they'll be under Institute protection, and the gangs will be. That'll be kind of like a way for the gangs to get rid of some aggression under my command. McCready will be sent back to the Capital Wasteland to be Olivia's eyes there and to be with his son. Olivia will send X688 and several synths with him to make preparations. We'll start doing some of the slave trading between the slavers in Fallout 3, plus the operators using the Safari World. Sorry. Hancock will be replaced by synth as soon as the Institute can make a ghoul version. That'll be one of my top priorities because replacing Hancock will be useful, I believe. This will bring Good Neighbor to heel, but secretly. Besides, 2 brothers, both synths. Seems appropriate. Olivia knows now why she was brought into this new world, to help mankind right itself and find a new future under her rule. Overall, all hail the new undisputed overboss and empress of the new America, Olivia.
Oh, that's pretty intense. Ray, what are your initial impressions here of Leon's feedback?
First off, just a fabulous story. He's done such a good job for this whole playthrough, kind of weaving Olivia's story through everything that he's done. So that definitely has kept it super interesting.
Yeah,
and
he's very thoughtful about his characters. You can always tell.
Yep,
very good.
And just it. He had a plan and he stuck with it.
Yeah, I like that he was. Well, of course, I guess the Institute must have been his assigned faction, so he's using the Institute to take over the rest of the Commonwealth. How is he weaving the Raiders into that? He said he was gonna start sneaking sense into the.
Right. So he'll. So the Institute will create replacements for the heads of the Raider gangs.
Yes.
And that way he's got full control.
Oh, perfect. That's really cool, Leon. Really great, man. I like that he's going to erase all of Curie's, any reference to her recall code, so that he has the ability to control Curie, hang that over her head.
Yep.
Good job. Sending McCready back to DC.
Yeah.
He's going back to Big Lamplight now, I guess.
Yeah, he's spreading far and wide. Olivia's not happy with just being, the boss of the Commonwealth.
Who'd she send out to Vegas?
I don't think she's gotten quite that far yet.
Olivia, you got work to do, sister. You got work to do. Well, that's great. Thank you so much, Leon, for another wonderful piece of feedback. So let's go ahead and move on to some more audio feedback here. We got a whole bunch to get through this evening. So we'll go ahead and check in with Paul. We'll go ahead and pull up Paul here. Thanks again, Paul. He's been, again, another really dedicated and awesome feedback participant this season. I've been enjoying Paul's feedback all season long, and his band of merry followers.
My character is a high charisma, low agility build with the limited companion framework. I decided to download the OBS Studio and see if my PC could run the game and record at the same time. Turns out even a 5-year-old i7 is good enough if you're willing to give away 10 frames per second. The problem turned out to be that I forgot that my characters don't have any underwear, and there's a few other adult mods that seemed funny at the time. I sort of modded the hell out of this game. You can see a lightly edited recording on my YouTube page. Search for Paul Benjamin on YouTube. The first job we tackled was indecent exposure. After getting a lead on another photo from Guthrie at the Bordello, we took off for the church in South Boston. I got to spend 10 minutes mashing buttons on a wall and looking at spotlights before I could get the safe to open and get the first key. We then went to Shaw High School and walked over to the Hyde Park Church, and we killed a few raiders and climbed up the steeple. And that got another key. Then it was off to Wildwood Cemetery. We did not arrive until around 2:30. We killed some ghouls and a lone raider. Found a bed in a ruined building and slept away the next 20 hours. Went out to find the headstone about 11:30 the next day, and found far more than 12 headstones with winged skulls, and didn't collect all over the place. And we went around this thing about 3 times before we finally got an idea of what was going on, and we then started destroying the headstones. And I got to the 11th headstone, and voila, the key was there. So I thought it was supposed to be the 12th headstone. Maybe I missed one. Then we went back to the church in South Boston. Denton said, go around to the side. And we entered the basement, and he said, well, this isn't the kind of pussy I was expecting, but it explains why the priest didn't just burn it. I grabbed the tape and then headed back to the Boston Bordello. Guthrie was not interested in audio. He's strictly a visual kind of guy. He also wouldn't pay me for my trouble. He said I should auction it off instead. Well, that was too much. The whole quest string was a bust. So I'll write it off to experience, or maybe I should say XP. We then went to Fiddler's Green to talk to Cosmos. Later, I'd find out that I didn't talk to him long enough and didn't get the triggers set up. We went on back to Nuka World and to the Galactic Zone. Since I've been there a half a dozen times before, I was pretty efficient in clearing that. And we left the battle zone till the end once I had enough star cores gathered up to put everything back under robotic control. That's just a little too tough for me in my Fudgment but build, since he didn't spec in robotics expert. I got all the star cores but one. I also gave the zone to the operators. That means 2 parks have gone to the operators and 3 parks have gone to the pack. We talked to Shank, had a few things to do before I wanted to go back into the Commonwealth. So I talked to Sierra about the Hidden Cappies quest. We went down to Brad Burton and put him out of his misery. And then we decided to go back to the Commonwealth. And I talked to my settlers off of the Red Rocket truck stopped, and that was the first outpost we set up. Then I went over to Abernathy Farm to clean things up because I wanted to set them up for their betrayal. Went back to Nuka World to drop off some spacesuits since they were hanging around in my inventory. And I only died once on the way to the spaceship. That's fairly good. And I managed to keep Tula alive, which is also kind of good. I only plugged in 3 fusion cores into the spaceship, so everybody managed to keep their heads. We went back to the Commonwealth, and then we set up Abernathy Farm to be the food production. So I betrayed them. And then I went back to Shank, moved him to the Red Rocket, and that's when I got the alarm about the first arena battle. Sabat, a gunner, died quickly, even though he's using Stealth Boy. And then it was time to go do the Fiddler Green quest, and I headed to the Bordello, but the radio signal didn't trigger, so I went to the Speakeasy near the combat zone, and the radio didn't trigger. And I went to the karaoke bar south of DB Technical High School, and the radio didn't trigger. So I went back to the Fiddler's Green to talk to Cosmos again. And this time we got the dialogue tree far enough to get everything set up. And we went back to the Bardello and the radio signal showed up. So we flew back to Fiddler's Green, and while I was trying to get all the information on what was happening, the Raiders started to attack. So I really didn't get a chance to save Moonbeam. That was kind of a sad story. We then went back to the Red Rocket and talked to Shank. I targeted Oberlin Station for our second outpost and 10 Pines Bluff for our third outpost. After that, we got the message about there being a ruckus up at the Nuka World power plant. And now for something totally different. I managed to get the Steam version of Fallout 3 in New Vegas to work on my PC. I played with them a little bit back in January 2017, but the new version of Windows 10 broke something on me, so I went in and deleted the EXEs and DLLs on the games and forced Steam to verify the files, which downloaded the EXEs and the DLLs again, and which made everything work again. I didn't touch anything in the data folders or the INIs, so I didn't have to edit all that up again. It's just a tip: if you have the latest version of Windows and something, it worked on a previous version of Windows 10 and it broke on this latest version. And there's a joke in there somewhere about bit rot, I'm sure.
Ray, explain that joke to me, please.
I'm not really sure I got it.
Bit rot. I'm sure. I love Paul. Paul,
Yep.
please. I hope you got New Vegas working, because I hope you're going to do a New Vegas play along with us when we get along. I've really enjoyed your feedback all season long, and I hope you keep bringing. I've jotted down a couple of things here. He said he assigned 2 to the operators and 3 to the pack. What determines which? Does it really matter at all, or it's just like, oh, do people actually look into the criteria and the credentials of each of these groups before they go assigning responsibility to around the park? What do you think, Ray? Why did you assign who you assigned to where you assigned them?
So depending on how you assign them, it, and also out in the Commonwealth, it impacts who you have to fight at the power plant. So I'm trying to see if it makes a difference, because I assigned everything 100% to the pack, which was my assigned group.
Yeah.
And so I'll see what what comes of that. Because I expect that I'll have to fight both of the other groups, the operators and the disciples, both, but I'm not quite sure how the mechanic works yet.
Now, I'm curious if those 2 will be fighting each other as well. You know what I mean? If you're going to step into one of those Bunker Hill situations where everyone's fighting each other.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We'll see how it plays out next week.
Yeah, great. Again, Paul brought up the that horrible pussy joke from the basement. He was saying his characters have no underwear and he's running all crazy mods. Paul, put some underwear on your characters. Come on, buddy. He said the total the the quest was a total bust, but he's going to write it off to experience, or should I say XP? I thought that was really fun. Paul, that's a good wink.
Fortunately, after watching his video, I realized that when you go into that first church and have to push the buttons to get the lights to come on, there's really no rhyme or reason. So I just put my head down and just started mashing buttons until the quest clicked. It only took me about 2 minutes.
Isn't it weird how it's just like there's no rhyme or reason or pattern? It seems it's just like whatever button you press, or how many times you press the button, just randomized all the lights. I just did it until the quest. I saw the little notification. I wasn't even watching the lights.
Yeah, maybe it goes quicker that way.
Yeah. He mentioned the Hidden Cappies quest. I've never completed that. Have you done the Hidden Cappies quest?
No, I haven't.
That lady is evidently from Fallout 3.
Right.
I didn't see her in Fallout 3, so I don't really catch that reference. But there's a hidden Cappies quest. I've not done that, but evidently there's some glasses that you put on and you can see Cappies that you couldn't without the glasses or something. I'm assuming. Correct?
Well, kind of. So I've got the glasses, and you come across the Cappies, and you can see the image on the wall. But when you walk up to it, nothing happens. If you put the glasses on, then it records the Cappy and the location, and it applies towards the quest.
Okay, so I thought that you had to wear the damn glasses all over the park just to find whatever it is. You can see the marker without having the silly glasses on. Okay, I understand that better now. I bet you she probably explained that to you if I would slow down and actually go through her whole dialogue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if she does or not.
And what is this Bradberton stuff? Is that something we're going to get to next week, or no?
No, it's just if you do this quest.
Okay, what have you done that?
No, but from what I understand, it's kind of like Mr. House. He's being preserved. So you have a
Is he like a head in a jar or something? Is he a Futurama head?
Yeah.
Is that a play on Disney? Isn't Disney's head supposed to be like cryogenically frozen or a head in a jar or something?
I'm not certain.
Yeah, I think there's a conspiracy theory out there. Oh, that's great. I don't know. I'll have to go play that quest too. I have never done that. And he did the Hebologist quest with the spaceship. I have done that one in the past, and I remember it being really fun. So I want to go back and do all those little. They're not even little. They're actually sort of sizable little side quests there.
Yeah.
I need to go visit those things. And what he mentioned the arena battle. There's an alarm for arena battle that started. What is he talking about there? What arena battles?
So every once in a while, you'll get a notification that somebody has come through the gauntlet. And so you, as the overboss, have to go in and do the final boss battle.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
And do you have to wear the stupid bumper car power armor that's connected to the ceiling that lets you get shot by a water pistol?
I don't know. I haven't done it yet. I just got my first notification.
Is there some dick in the park who's going to plant a water pistol for some jerk to use against you? Oh, R.I.P. Gage.
Yeah. And so on the Hebologist quest, so if you don't care about the 100 extra charges for your hub blaster, instead of 3 fusion cores in the spaceship, put in 4.
And what happens? He said there was some difference about heads or something, right?
Yeah, they'll explode.
Ah, nice. How you said the hub blaster, is that, I assume, designed similar to the alien blaster?
Yeah,
it's just a different scanner color or something.
Yeah, actually, it looks kind of the same, but you do get. So it's got a little extra. So it does. What does that one do? It's got it doubles your critical hit, and your meter fills 15% faster.
Oh, that's not insignificant.
Nope.
Nice. Good stuff. You probably understood much better than I about all of the Windows 10 trouble he was having and deleting INI and exe files or whatever he's talking about. But that is a good tip. Do you have any thoughts about that, Ray?
I haven't actually had to do this, so it's good to know that it works.
Nice.
But yeah, fortunately, it's not anything I've had to do yet.
Fortunately, yeah, that's not something you want to have to know how to do if you can avoid it at all costs. So here, let me pull up an email real quick. We actually had an email written in. We had someone. Let's see, Wendy. Yeah, here we go. Wendy writes in. I guess she rolled a character here. That's great with the character generator. Speaking of which, we need to discuss our new character generator, right? Keep that in the back of your mind. We have a special of 4 big guns, perception 6, sniper, endurance 4, toughness. This big guns and toughness together already, you already got a nice character rolling there. Charisma 2, attack dog. Intelligence 4, hacker. That's nice. That's always a good one to have. Agility 6, sandman. Before, sometimes useful. And luck, fortune finder. Oh, Ray, part of the club, our fortune finder club. Yep. Companion dog meat, and that's good with the attack dog charisma thing. I think Marcus may have woven that in. He may have tied if you get attack dog that you actually get dog meat as your companion. I'm not sure if he did that on purpose or not, but I think we might have done that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
Home over on Dalton Farm. Let's see, that's over on that's on the North Shore, over on the island.
Yep.
Romance Hancock, faction, railroad. Oh, Romance of Hancock, that's great. I really like Hancock. Faction, the railroad. That's cool. Faction, Commonwealth. So nice. Zach is a conflicted guy. Here we go. There's a little beefy email, so sit back, everybody. Let me get my beverage here ready. First of all, he hasn't been back from the war for 9 months, and he's really not buying this Sean was very premature line of crap. Although the baby definitely doesn't look like he was finished baking, if you know what I mean. He guesses this was for worse part of marriage vows. His ambivalence about Sean's parentage has dampened Zach's motivation to find the little weevil, and he gets sidetracked a lot. I mean, a lot. It also turns out that his nagging belief that Nora cheated on him while he was away has allowed Zach to consider other possible alternatives to find happiness. Zach has found a group of refugees led by a guy named Preston and helped them out a bunch of lawless idiots and call themselves the Raiders. In process, Zach got his hands on something called a minigun. Being a veteran, Zach is not at all squeamish about taking down an enemy and is generally pretty good with a gun. This minigun, or rather this big gun, I see what you did there, nice, makes him feel complete. If only his buddy Dogmeat would stop getting in the way. Luckily, Dogmeat seems pretty resilient and after time seems to be no worse for wear. He's also started to bring along that stupid Codsworth and Nora had to have just for some extra firepower in his dangerous world Zach has found himself in. As soon as he gets his bearings and develops some survival skills of his own, he'll kick this pile of steel and circuits to the curb. Oh man, that's so rough. Codsworth's a sweetheart. Zach had just about enough of Codsworth's passive-aggressive bullshit. He might pick up another companion along the way, but that remains to be seen. So Zach helped this ragtag group to get Sanctuary Hill set up, or to get Sanctuary Hill set up a stake. Preston asked him to help out some settlers at a place called 10 Pines Bluff, which Zach did, and after Preston asked him to lead the Minutemen. Not really Zach's thing, but who could say no to those pleading brown eyes? So now Zach is a general. It will do for now, but the Minutemen as a group doesn't have his heart. Oh, how could you, Zach? Oh, I love it.
I don't know, I kind of feel it.
Okay. Zach also met up with some soldiers in a unit called the Brotherhood of Steel. He helped them take down a bunch of ghouls. Zach must have a very trustworthy looking face because they're by the book paladin. Some people take their roleplay a little too far, thought Zach. That's hilarious. Immediately went into recruitment mode after he found out there was no pay and their mission was to collect tech for no real purpose, it seemed. Zach told him no and moved on. To be continued. Wendy Collins. All right, that's awesome. Thank you so much for that email, Wendy. I hope that you keep rolling with the character and send us in emails and maybe even let us hear your voice sometime. And that's great. So keep up the good work with your email. And Ray, do you have any thoughts there?
Well, some of the stuff I can roll with Zach. Max is a pretty hard-edged guy too, so didn't really have a lot of warm and fuzzies for the do-goody followers, and definitely had nothing for Preston.
Yeah, Max likes to kill everyone in the room first just to see what happens. That's his MO. Let's see if it dies.
So as a counter to that, I just recently started up an opposite character called Lancelot that is chivalrous and helps everybody out. You won't like it because he's joined the Brotherhood of Steel.
Oh no, boo, hiss hiss.
He's a knight in shining armor.
No, I really need to do a Brotherhood play along. I just haven't, that my whole little Brotherhood of Steel hate is, it's just kind of don't tell anybody in the audience, or it's just kind of for show.
Okay.
Don't tell them.
Not a word.
No, but screw the Brotherhood of Steel. Minutemen forever. Yeah. Okay. So we got still more feedback to get through. We got Lee wrote in a big beefy one here, so we can check in with Lee, and we also have Jeremy to get to hear from, and also maybe not a King of the Bunker Hill, which it's back, everybody. We still have 4 episodes left till the end of season 1 for King of the Bunker Hill. So let's go ahead and check in with Lee. Here, let me pull up Lee.
Hi, Fallout Feed guys and gals. This is Lee Benjamin. This is a test. Welcome to the wonderful world of audio recording, where you never know quite what you're going to get. In the words of Fallout New Vegas, let's begin again. Hi, Fallout Feed guys and gals. This is Lee Benjamin. When we last saw Bethany, she had just finished the Like a Good Neighbor quest. She's continuing now on the Grand Tour with High Noon at the Gulch. Odd. Place that I resumed is northeast of Hester's Consumer Electronics and is marked Hunt Down and Kill Nisha, leader of the Disciples. Well, obviously this marker's in the wrong place. Came across Ticker Tape Lounge and found some gunners. Took care of them, left the lounge. Now the marker's gone. All right, going to Diamond Alley, taking care of some stuff, then headed out to Nuka World in the Red Rocket. Can't close the garage. I'll build a concrete wall and put a door in it. Wandering around a bit, found Brad Burton, found out there's a dam near it. Beware, the dam has a Mirelurk Queen at it. Closest location I have to Dry Rock Gulch is the Ferris wheel, so off we go. Found that the Galactic Zone is to the north of the Ferris wheel. There's ants here. Got to Dry Rock Gulch. Found bloodworms. But Nisha calls. Headed out to the Nuka World power plant where she was, apparently. This time the marker was correct. I found ferals. Oh, and Nisha. Interestingly, even out here, Diamond City Radio is received. Found a big Nuka Grape sign painted on the side of the building. On the wall atop some ramps. There's a small office here. Taking care of some ghouls, gave Bethany level 42, and I rewarded her with Agility 6. Found Nisha on the roof. Bang, 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 bang. She went down. What? She got back up again at full strength. Bang, 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 bang. You go up against Nisha. Make sure when she's down, she is down. Probably true of all the bosses. Just hadn't noticed before. Next on that quest line is Kill Mason, who appears to be in Nuka Town. I believe it's with the pack. Let's head instead to High Noon at the Gulch. Happen to stop by the Fizztop Mountain Grill, and Gage won't talk to me anymore. Probably because of him seeing me snipe from the balcony. This will make it kind of difficult to get quests from him hereafter. But you'd think he would have objected and attacked me or something, but he's just standing there. Arrived at Dry Rock Gulch, found bloodworms, and Sheriff Hawk. Sheriff Hawk wants a deputy. He happens to be a Protectron. And he wants the deputy to open up Mad Mulligan's mind. But in order to do that, you've got to talk to his 3 amigos who have the combo to the safe. They're also Protectrons. Because Sheriff Huck thought it was a good idea, he gave me a Western outfit and a hat. Giddy up, little doggies. This started the quest high noon at the Gulch. Unlocked the Dry Gulch Theater, where I found a Nuka Sunrise recipe, 950 arcade tickets, and an outdoor theater. Past the theater is a locked door with ants both crawling and flying. On the other side of the theater from the door is a safe that requires a key. This must have to do with something, since I'm supposed to be getting a password, not a key. We'll see. I found Caleb's personal log. Apparently he was one of the actors in the theater, and he played a fun drunk. Well, he took his role a little too seriously, and whiskey fueled his role. Found out that Jesse was harassing him. Well, of course, we found Jesse's personal log, too. He apparently is more of an actor than Caleb was, and he decided this is his worst gig yet. And Caleb isn't helping any by drinking and not bathing. A little true to the role, Caleb. Back off. We headed back to the central area of Dry Rock Gulch. Up to the north and west, I found the Giddy Up Kid. He's another Protectron with a corral. Also found some cave cricket hunters here. The Giddy Up Kid wants you to bring back one or more Giddy Up Buttercups to the corral and help out an honest horse trader. Well, that's nice. An honest horse trader who's supplied by horse thieves. Well, you know, everything's relative, I guess. I actually found in the dialogue that I could skip doing the quest. You know, sometimes park attendees are just fed up and want to get on with it. So let's move on. And he decided that was a good idea and gave us the third part of the safe combo. Wandering around looking for another Protectron amigo, I heard an announcement about a Gator wrestling show. That sure sounds like a bad idea. Let's hope they're not into audience participation. Came across Doc Phosphate's Saloon. And one of the things I found in there, in addition to Doc Phosphate, which we'll talk about in a minute, was a terminal for employees with several interesting entries. There are requests for snacks, which I think is part of a sub-quest here. They're hiring to replace Barb. They need somebody 18 plus for alcohol sales because apparently that Nuka-Cola Dark is pretty popular. It speculates they could use someone named Jenny because she looks over 18. Looks so important. Somebody named Vinny needs a day off. There's too many drunks and bar fights, and he gives the opinion that the local sheriff's office really needs a drunk tank. They're also running low on first aid kits. These fights must be something. There's also a schedule announcement. No time off for Halloween, and midnight closers may leave at 2 a.m. So as with most businesses involving restaurants or stores, there's the time you close the store, and then there's the time you get to go home. Clean it up, Buttercup. Finally got around to talking to Doc Phosphate. He again gave me the option of skipping the Falderall and gave me the safe combo, part 2. Headed back outside and found stingwings and stingwing chasers. Fun. Wandering around, I found a Nuka bomb drop recipe. Gee, that sounds dangerous. Let's hope it isn't too fizzy. Came across Christie's holotape, talking about how the games here are fixed and the rules by which she's supposed to manage a game. Not very happy. Came across an animatronic character that was apparently a consumer, whatever that might mean, and I got a consumer outfit off of it. Didn't realize you could take the clothes off some of the animatronics until I heard those good guys at the Fallout feed talk about it. The outfit I got was called Nuka World Geyser and jeans, so it's a shirt with a Nuka World Geyser on it. Came across some more bloodworms. Came across an outhouse, and I've decided all outhouses should have ammo boxes. You know, it's what you need. Is that what you go to the outhouse for? Found the safe in the theater and got Mud Mulligan's mine key. Headed back over to Mad Mulligan's mine. In the mine entrance room, found Jenny's note. Wondering if this is the same Jenny who looked over 18. Anyway, she was in a last stand against the Raiders. Things were not going well in the Gulch. Found a toolbox with an advanced lock on it. Mad Mulligan's minecart roller coaster. More bloodworms. Found another employee dead. Sam Teller. Oh, Sam Tellis apparently was a woman, and she had a note that said she was going out on her own terms. She wasn't going to let these bloodworms get her, or raiders, or whatever it was in particular she was on a last stand with. Found another body with a note. Ricky Braxton. They keep feeling tremors or something. Rather obvious movie reference given what the bloodworms are. Came across the Mad Mulligan's minecart medallion machine. Woohoo! Okay, in the souvenir shop, there's a terminal and the chain side of a chain door. Oh, okay. Somehow that's on the terminal. Anyway, there's some employee info. Sam's log. She went to Dry Rock Gulch to avoid raiders. Some others went to the Galactic Zone. Well, apparently the raiders caught up with her. Sam's log number 2. Coulter's raiders are closer. She's going into the mine. Well, that didn't work out very well for her. Proceeded to kill the bloodworms in the mine. Once they're eradicated, I got a question marker thing telling me to check in with the sheriff. This netted Bethany 200 caps and completed high noon at the Gulch for 496 XP. Bethany traveled back to Nuka Town Market. She then went after the disciples. Savoy and Dixie are both pretty tough. After having died a couple times, she decided to go straight into the shack that was ahead of her. This turned out to at least give her some cover. She was able to take care of a couple of people who were in there and then work on Dixie and Savoy. In the cabin, Bethany found Nisha's terminal. It had standard Raider stuff on it, who's loyal and who's not. There was a hint to the Grant Chester Mystery Mansion, which is supposed to have a ticket-taking protectron at it. The Grant Chester Mystery Mansion wound up in miscellaneous quests with no location. I think it's in Bremerton, though. There's another miscellaneous quest here. Restore power plant power. Not sure I can because of the state I've got stuff into. But we'll keep it on the list. Well, since we finished Dry Rock Gulch, time for a safari adventure. Went by the town center to do some trading, and Bethany found that Agatha's dress has +3 charisma on it. This brings her charisma all the way up to 12. Wow. Bought fusion cores for 306 each. That's a good bargain. Came across the Angry Anaconda coaster, which had 3 gator claws at it. Oh my God, these things are nasty. They're like death claws with alligator heads. Fighting and retreating, Bethany's using a compensated high-capacity Gauss rifle. Does 164 damage. Took 10 or 15 shots to take out these 3 gator claws. And this was just at the beginning of the coaster. She wound up retreating almost all the way back to the Red Rocket in the process of fighting these guys. Luckily, their hits only were doing about 15% damage to her. Her Brotherhood of Steel T60E power armor has the following stats. Kinetic 1530, Energy 1185, and Rad Resistance 1050. Went back to the safari and found a scaffold. On here there was a container with 19 2mm cartridges for the Gauss rifle. Those will help out. There was also a radio that wasn't turned on. A guy named Cito just came right up to me. He looks kind of like Tarzan. Loincloth and a board. He came up the scaffold to meet me. After talking to Cito for a bit, he took us to the primate house. Along the way, we wound up killing 3 more gator claws. There are lots of birds here making a racket. I'm starting to wonder if the bird and elephant noises I keep hearing are just recordings. I haven't seen evidence of either one. Cito introduced us to his Ghoul-Rilla family. Yes, Ghoul-Rilla. Cito told us about a wrinkly man that he found who said that he was inadvertently making monsters. He's sorry about it and gave Cito a shiny thing to help. Cito didn't know what it was. Turns out it was Dr. McDermott 91W, a holotape. Turns out that there was a replication facility where they had started making gator claws. This was part of a series of tests, and it's not clear whether gator claw was a goal or fortunate side effect. Apparently, the machine got out of control and he had to leave. He gave us a passcode and said to take the recording to somebody, Dr. Ives, maybe? We'll figure that out. The quest that came up was called Investigate the Source of the Gator Claws. So apparently they were doing some animal cloning. Cito said that this was going on in the Big Triangle house. In talking to Cito, you can get him to have the family help out. It turns out that the Ghoul-Rilla King will go with you. Bethany hit level 46. What does Bethany need? Does she need to hit harder or be tougher? Or get Medic 3 for 80%? Well, looks like hit harder might be better. I'm wondering if the Gauss rifle is considered a heavy gun. Well, we'll take Heavy Gunner 1. It'll at least help with the missile launcher. Heavy guns do 20% more damage. Oops, Bethany doesn't have enough strength. She needs 5. She only has 3. So she settled for Commando 2. 40% more damage for automatic weapons. Hope that includes the Gauss rifle. Does not seem to. Well, Cito took us across the park and found the Big Triangle house. It turns out this was like the welcome center for Safari Adventure. Found a holotape that belonged to a group called AFAD, Animal Friends and Defenders. Sound kind of like an eco-terrorist group. Found a terminal by a door. On the terminal, it mentioned a ransom note addressed to Mr. Bradburton. AFAD took someone called Dr. Hine. Apparently, this is the doctor that Dr. McDermott had referenced in his note. Anyway, AFAD took Dr. Hine to the Angry Anaconda, which is a coaster that was in the process of being built when the bombs fell, so it's incomplete. Also found on this terminal a note about the security levels. Chinchilla is normal. Orangutan is light security needed. Dingo is medium security. And Grizzly is a full lockdown. The lab status code at the time was code Grizzly. And apparently the lab can only be opened by Dr. Hine, Dr. McDermott, or Mr. Breberton. Being as the likelihood they're all dead, well, we'll have to see what happens. I asked Cito about the Angry Anaconda. He called it a giant metal snake. Apparently it's a ride, and because it's a coaster, it looks like a big snake. Well, you know, Cito's only got so much going on there upstairs, so we'll deal with it. He's apparently learning from something with words and pictures. So that's how he found the word anaconda. Anaconda. He sounded it out like that. So he's got some kind of a picture book or terminal where he's learning to read. Interesting. Maybe he's smarter than I thought he was. Went back to the main desk on the Welcome Center and found a Nuka Rush recipe. There's another terminal in the Welcome Center with memos. Sarcasm mode on. Guests can enjoy dismemberment by big cats. The animal terrorists of AFAD. Perhaps Secret Project Cobalt will be your ending. There was a warning that AFAD was now in the animal cloning facility, and the Angry Anaconda ride was now deemed unsafe. I guess if you manage to survive this stuff, you can call yourself a safari adventurer. Anyway, some of this stuff may just be a cover story, since it turns out that the Angry Anaconda site where AFAD took Dr. Hine. Head outside into Safari Adventure, and by the south entrance, to the west is a single building with a power armor station in it. Needed steel, plastic, and aluminum. Apparently paintbrush and a toy car haven't got any plastic in them. So much for modern tech. Maybe the spatula had plastic in it, as I was able to fix my T-60 arm and helmet. Walked over to the Angry Anaconda and found a power station with a fusion core in it and an expert locked trailer. Opened up the trailer and found the skeleton of a scientist and a tool case with Dr. Hine's passcode. So apparently this was Dr. Hine. Oh well. But I got the passcode, so I went back to the cloning facility. Opened the door, went down the stairs, and yay, Gator Claw! After dispatching him, I found a set of offices and Dr. McDermott's journals. These are holotapes. 47B. He apparently was the last known survivor of the cloning facility. Apparently after the bombs, he was ghoulified. He missed Dr. Hine. Apparently they were friends. Log 53L. Dr. McDermott used the Nukagen replicator to clone a cow for food. So that's how he sustained himself for however long he was trapped in here before he went out and met Cito. Dr. Hine's terminal was here also. There were 5 entries, the last on 10/23/2077, a date which will live in infamy. The last entry on it, on that date, he was called to the Angry Anaconda. These entries are listed backward by date. At one point, AFAD had attacked Dr. Hine's car, a Corvega, They filled it with manure and painted "Stop the Torture" on the security door here, going into the building. February 27th, 2077. PBO-41, one of the experiments, was an inside-out polar bear that exploded. Ouch. September 19th, 2077. Funds were being diverted from Safari Adventure to Project Cobalt. And then on the October 23rd, of course, he was called to the Anaconda. Headed downstairs, there's a back corridor where I found an albino deathclaw and a normal one. Bang, bang. Found the Nukagen replicator machine terminal, and I used Dr. Hines' passcode. Disable current replication procedure. That sounds like a good option. Also found the program history. These have codes on them instead of dates, so I'm doing them in order. 99, they had to incinerate a sample because they're not turning out. I wonder if that was related to the polar bear. And number 109, they also incinerated a sample. Note 114, gator claws. Recommend termination of subject and resequencing after study with a period in isolation. Q334, this run of testing, remains unstable. This advanced the quest, and you're given the goal of clearing Safari Adventure by removing the remaining gator claws. At this point, apparently I had killed 12 out of 21. Nice to have a countdown. Found a pipe that had one of the rotating doors in it. 2 more gator claws came out of the pipe. There's a terminal on the side of this one, apparently for opening a remote door. I unlocked it, but where's the door? No visible wires running off the terminal. Went into the tunnel and here's the door. Out to Nuka World. Came out in the canal between the 2 halves of Safari Adventure. Went west, and I can see the reptile house. Still no exit from the canal. Got out at a rope bridge. Found the reptile house, went inside, and there were 2 doors. One was blocked by debris, and the other wasn't. Found a marker for the gator claw inside, went in, and he was sleeping in a cage. Shot him, and he woke up, obviously. But it turns out he was too dumb to come around the breach in the cage, so he just stood there as I took him down. Found some stairs down and some red rat pups. Came to a reptile house guide terminal, which included emergency procedures. When you have a guest who has been injured, 1, confirm they're a valid ticket holder. Oh, such compassion. Then have the visitor go to Nuka Town to the main office to file a report. If they're for some reason incapacitated, a stretcher is available for a mere $400 fee. Inflation's a bitch. Step 3. After the request is completed, first aid will be provided and billed to the visitor. More compassion. Wow. If no valid admission, call security. Another entry in the terminal talked about incidents of dangerous specimens being released into kiddie areas. Apparently, supervision isn't doing its job. Another note to employees. Snake eggs are not delicious. Don't spread these rumors. Another note. AFAD has stolen some specimens during reptile touch time, so employees should keep a hold of the reptiles that they're sharing with the guests. Headed back outside. Markers show there are gator claws to the southeast. Found 2 outside Cappy's treehouse. And another in the Jungle Journey Theater. No companions. Went back to Reptile House and found them. Only Dance came out. Back in. Cedo and Gorilla came out. No Dance. Back in. No Dance. Out. No Dance. Moved out of the area and Dance reappeared. Dang. Companions. Okay, let's see. Found a dead Brahmin luff. Shorthorn. Some kind of post-apocalyptic. Well, I guess this would have been pre-apocalyptic since it was at the Safari Adventure. It has 2 heads, but it still looks like a water buffalo. Maybe it wasn't pre-post. I don't know. Whatever. Hey, in the theater, I went to the top of the stands, and that gave me some shots on a gator claw that was in another area. I wasn't able to take them out, though. Found a sign. Warning, please don't feed the animals. It has a picture of a woman holding a baby in front of her. I wonder what idiot came up with that. Found a gator claw in an area behind the big triangle house. 3 left. Crossing the rope bridge to the North Island. Found some cages. One of them had a dead pack scaver in it. Unlocked a cage that had a dead 2-headed gazelle in it. Stored some trash in a junk can. Excuse me. Stored some junk in a trash can. Over near where the Kodiak bear statue is. Remaining gator claws seemed to be on the South Island, crossing the East Bridge. Bloodworms. Found entrance to Cappy's treehouse. And 20th of 21 gator claws. Seems like a maze underneath the treehouse. And it is night. Creepy. Finally found the last gator claw. Seems to be between a bush and a wall near the entrance. No way to get to him or target him. Blocked by a huge Nuka-Cola bottle at the other end. Turned off clipping and got to him, but he's clipped into a wall and seems to be already dead. There's another door marker with a gold symbol on it. The square pin thing at the north edge of the North Island. Here I found a bear cave. There was a Yaoguai fighting a gator claw. The bear is faster and getting in more hits. Eventually, the Yaoguai won. It was a shame to kill him, but he attacked us. Safari Adventure Maintenance Terminal. Here again, coded entries not by date. I'll give the last 3 letters of each. UCU. B. Ross is being avoided. LSR. Frank. I don't know what that means. DSM. Hidden Camera Project. Cobalt. Oh, that's right. Because B. Ross was being avoided. And Frank, then B. Ross set up a hidden camera to find out what was going on. Through this, he found out about Project Cobalt. Frank told someone called Nero about Cobalt. MDK was the last entry and is by Frank, who'd been informed that B. Ross is now on vacation, probably due to prying into Project Cobalt. Questline now says, deal with Cito and his family since I've killed all the Death Claws. He wants me to put a gang flag on Safari Adventure, but since I'm against the gangs, Cito wants to stay, and you can ask him to get along with my friends, whatever that means. He agrees, and he gave Bethany Cito's shiny slugger, a spiked rocket aluminum bat that does 109 damage. It's slow, weighs 7.5 pounds, but on a critical hit, it refills your AP. It says it's worth 175, but whoever gets what those estimates are. Found a stove I could use, and I was able to make 34 gator claw steaks, which provide 195 hit point and 1 action point. Also was able to grill up 8 gazelle steaks, which are worth 60 hit points, and give you a plus 25 to carry weight, kind of like the regular rad stags. And Bethany made 8 rad rat steaks. These provide 48 hit points and plus 5 AP for 20 minutes. Okay, so that's the end of Safari Adventures.
Take care, and I'll see you in the wasteland.
Lee. That's awesome. Thank you so much for your in-depth and detailed descriptions of our past quests, Lee. We always enjoy Lee's submissions. He's always been a nice and dedicated listener, posting his feedback. And I'd like to thank everyone for sending in your feedback. It's all been great. We still have a couple more things to get to this evening. And speaking of feedback,
Lee's Gauss rifle, he would have had to have taken rifleman. It's considered a regular projectile rifle, not an automatic weapon.
Oh yeah. What else do you have for Lee's?
So that Nuka bomb drop recipe. It gives you +1 strength, +1 endurance, and +1 agility.
Okay.
But it takes bourbon, rum, vodka, Nuka Dark, and Nuka Cola to make.
That sounds. I don't know if you've ever slummed it, Ray, and played some Fallout Shelter, but when that rings true to Fallout Shelter for me, when an object is like, it gives you plus strength and endurance and agility, and like when it's like 3 or 4 different categories, the outfits and Fallout Shelter all do that. It's pretty fun.
Mm.
The ones do.
So I did find out that Nuka Ray recipe that I got was so that's a Nuka Orange and a Nuka Victory, and it gives you plus 999 hit points.
Wait,
and,
what?
Plus 25 rad resistance.
It just basically replenishes your health immediately, or for like an extended period of time. Like, how does that?
No, it looks like it's all at one whack.
Man, but it doesn't have like a duration of effect, right? It's not like it lasts for a minute or something where you basically have infinite life. Still, that's pretty good. What was it called again? The Nuka Ray?
Yep.
That's your cola, man.
I'm telling you. Pretty powerful stuff.
Modded it into the game, didn't you?
But me, man.
Yeah, don't lie.
Didn't see me do it. Can't prove anything.
I like Lee's description of Cito and the interaction.
Yeah,
he's like tart and stuff, man. But that Cito shiny slugger, that's always a fun little thing to carry around. It's got the little rocket packs on there.
Especially if you've got high strength and big leagues.
Yeah, and Blitz works with that too, right?
Yeah, Blitz will work with any of the melee weapons.
Yeah, so that'd be fun. You've sold me on this Blitz stuff. I was sort of skeptical a while back, but now that I've done a little bit of a Blitz playthrough, that's really fun stuff.
Yeah, it gets kind of tricky if you do one that doesn't have it. So once you get used to it.
Oh yeah, because you can't hit anything from halfway across the parking lot.
Exactly.
So has Lee played New Vegas?
I don't recall.
Well, Lee, I hope you're going to join us for our New Vegas playthrough. Big exciting news. Next season of the Fallout Roundtable will happen in Fallout New Vegas. I know that we've announced that, but I'm pretty excited. My copy showed up for the Xbox. Do the reverse compatibility. Everyone out there, if you have your old Xbox 360 copy, you can pop that on over into your Xbox One, and that'll work right up, and it looks beautiful.
Sweet.
It works really well. Load screens are absolute zero. It's amazing how quickly it loads everything. So it works really well there. So do that if you can.
Yeah, okay. I'm working on my mod list.
Oh yeah, yeah. You'll have to let us know what sort of curation you have going on over there. I know Victor has posted something really cool for the new A Skyrim Addict podcast roundtable. They're going to do Oblivion, and he just posted a link of a really, really nice cultivated group of mods to make Oblivion look just downright beautiful. I was watching it and I was like, wow, that doesn't look horrible like I remember Oblivion looking. Anyway, that's so hopefully we'll get some tips, and we can for all you PC Master Race folks out there, we can get New Vegas looking similar to Fallout 4, hopefully. Something like that. I know that it's out there. There's Denny has always mentioned that there's these crazy crossover mods where you can cross over 3 in New Vegas, or like they're trying to get New Vegas onto the 4 engine, so like New Vegas looks like 4 and stuff. So and those are always fun. I never know how that works, but I'd be interested to try sometime if I can ever pull the trigger on buying an actual PC. I have this Mac desktop, just for recording purposes, Ray. It's I like it so much more.
I suppose they're probably okay for that.
Yeah, if I wanted to be a real gamer, I have to get like a Windows machine. But then I hear all you guys just bitch about like, oh, Windows 10, no, I can't play this, I can't do that, I got to load this driver, and then I hate messing with all that stuff. That's why I love the console. You don't have to fight with stuff as much. I'm a big sissy when it comes to all that technology.
That's a sense of accomplishment.
It's a sense of defeat in my book. Okay, Jeremy actually just sent in something here right before we started the show, so let's go ahead and check in with Jeremy too. Hey, Jeremy, I've been really enjoying your feedback all season long, and your appearance on the show was also really, really well received. You did a great job, and thanks again for being a participant in this season, and I hope that you will join us next season in New Vegas as well. So let's check in with Jeremy.
Hello, Roundtable. This is Jeremy McDaniel checking in with my character Michelle Briggs for the season 3. I believe I left off with Michelle just finally getting to Nuka World, and I was pretty late to Nuka World and started the season mostly only doing the Tales quests, and then just about a month ago, maybe 3 to 4 weeks ago, I finally got to Nuka World, and I've pretty much just only been doing Nuka World. Very little travel back to the Commonwealth, only to drop off junk, and I did a couple smaller quests. But I believe I left off, I'd taken down Oswald with my quad missile launcher that was brand new at the time and has certainly become my favorite weapon, blowing up everything in the Common or in Nuka World. And I also had taken the Nuka Queen out and taking the World of Refreshment. I gave that one to the operators and the Kitty Kingdom to the pack. And actually, I was assigned the Commonwealth for my faction, and that fits the kind of the role play of Michelle. She's the humanitarian, takes her position of general very seriously, and big on getting settlements. And but I decided to play out the Grand Tour, Nuka World Grand Tour, and then I would once they told me to take over my settlements that I had made in the Commonwealth, I was going to turn on them. But anyway, I more recently, so I finally got to Safari Zone, and I met Sito. And I really liked Sito and his gorilla gang. It was really cool to see gorillas in the Commonwealth. So that was my first experience of that. And I was glad when I could persuade Sito to get one of the gorillas to follow us throughout that area of the park. I thought Sito looked like Khal Drogo from Game of Thrones. Does anyone else think that? But I got his shiny slugger. I thought the Safari Zone wasn't too difficult. I didn't have too hard of a time. I wasn't in power armor for that area. But it was pretty easy work. For the most part, you never saw more than 2 at a time, I feel like. 2 gator claws. I might have said death claw. 2 gator claws at a time. From there, I was starting to head to Dry Rock Gulch, but then I had heard in the chat during one of the filmings from, I think it was Leon and Sarah were talking about, or maybe even Pat said it on air, about how if you do Dry Rock Gulch, you get a bunch of interesting Silver Shroud dialogue. So I went ahead and headed back to the Commonwealth and worked with Kent Connolly and became the Silver Shroud and Good Neighbor and got that armor so I could go back and do the Dry Rock Gulch role playing with my role play of Michelle as the Silver Shroud, which was pretty cool. It was pretty corny, but it was kind of a fun area to just be goofy and corny. It was pretty easy to get through. Just a lot of just annoying bloodworms. But I don't know. I really liked the Shroud's expanded dialogue through that, and I'm glad that I did that, just to experience it a little different. From there, so at some point in one of these trips back to the Commonwealth, I had a pack. I talked to Mason. I had a pack mission to just clear out some, I don't know, Brother of Steel. Maybe it was Gunners in some area. But anyway, I was running around in the Commonwealth, and I ran across Cricket, the trader, I guess on one of her trade routes, and I bought the legendary weapon Spray and Pray, and this has quickly become one of my favorite weapons. I bought it, I think, maybe even before I went to Safari Zone, but I didn't use it much because I was waiting to upgrade it before I used it. I didn't have a 45 weapon, so I had a ton of 45 ammo. I didn't have one that I liked or used much, so I had a bunch of ammo, and I wanted to mod it up before I started using it. And finally, when I got to the Nuka Galaxy part of the park, I started pulling out, because that definitely was, the most difficult area of the park, in my opinion, just because there's just so many robots and turrets everywhere, and they packed a punch, and so I'd finally, in that part of the park, I'd modded up the spray and pray. Pretty much, I've gotten up 4 and have some levels of science. I pretty much souped it up as good as you can, and that thing is just spectacular. It has a, I believe the only special perk is that it has exploding ammo, spray and pray. It's a 45 ammunition weapon, and it has explosive effects. And so, the 45 weapons tend not to have the most damage, but with that explosive damage, sorry, on top of the fact that it often staggers my opponents almost, very frequently, I've found it to be incredibly useful. Although it is full automatic, and I've since blown through all of my ammunition. Pretty much, Nuka Galaxy took all of my 45 with spray and pray. Really loved Nuka Galaxy. I think that is now my favorite part of the park, although I really enjoyed my battle with Oswald. It's a runner-up. But just how difficult it is fun. It's definitely the most I've died and had to replay parts since in this character, certainly. And I got all the star cores. I ended up actually getting every last one of them. But I found 30 of them on my own, just kind of as I was going through the park and all the different areas. Like, I just was staying thorough, and I pretty much found. Actually, I think it was 32. I think I had 3 left, and I finally had to look up on the wiki where 2 of them were, and then the last one, obviously, was in Star Control at the top. So I ended up finishing that. I collected all the cappies and saw Brad Burton's frozen head, and that was a really awesome side quest. I heard some other people play through that, and I didn't realize, potentially, what is her name? Petrovich? Sierra Petrovita. I was really listening to an episode, and I heard someone, and realized that she could become aggro if you do put down Brad Burton as he requests. But I ended up being able to talk her through it, and I don't know, that was a really fun thing, and I really liked Sierra Petrovita, even though she's kind of a nut. I was glad I didn't have to kill her. I also ended up doing the Hobologists, and I am curious. I assume it's we're past spoilers, so I'm just going to go with it. But at the very end, when you get the ride going, the alien ride spinning, I was so excited for them. I thought, everything's working. They're on this ride. It was fun. Even though I knew it wasn't going to fly, it was a happy moment. And then how that ended, they're all like, it's working. And then, something's wrong. Like, I feel sick. And all of a sudden, I believe their heads exploded. Or I know some of them on my games, heads exploded, and others just blood splatter everywhere. What was up with that? I didn't quite understand why that happened. If anyone could enlighten me. I thought it was so abrupt. It was shocking, but also kind of hilarious. But I felt bad at the same time. Anyway, so I've pretty much just run through all of Nuka World, and then I ended up doing open season. I went back to Gage and talked to him, and he told me about his plans to move on to the Commonwealth and expand, and I was kind of like, eh. And being the good general of the Minutemen I am, or Michelle is, she elected to talk to Mackenzie, the trader, in the marketplace, and start an open season where she talks about how the conditions aren't good for the traders, and it'd be in my power to put an end to the raider rule. Had a good time with that. all of the leaders were pretty tough. They definitely ate a lot of bullets. I used a lot of spray and pray in my missile launcher. And then I really enjoyed, in the very last place I went was the pack, and to take out Mason. And I pretty much took out everyone. I would say the majority of the people in there with one just enormous nuke. And with my demo perks and heavy gunner perks, that was spectacular. I was sad to kill Gage. I kind of thought maybe he was gonna, follow me to the end. I'd reached the highest affinity with him, and I had him back at Grey Garden when I did the deed of starting open season. And I went back to Grey Garden, and he was aggro, and I had to put him down. Lastly, I'm dragging on as usual, but so I'm pretty much finished with Nuka World, and I'm heading back to the Commonwealth to just finish out the Tales quests for the season, and also I'm going to really start heading to finish the main story, which I've never finished. Currently, I need to build the machine to get to the Institute, I believe. I have to visit Virgil again to get that instruction, I believe, but so I'm excited for that, and I'm doing railroad side quests and then on the side as well, because that's how I'm going to play the main story through, I think. The last thing is I've been talking about this every episode. I feel like every entry that I submit, I've been building this fortress at Grey Garden, and it's really come together until I hit the build cap, and I don't know why I'm so dumb, but I had not realized there was a building cap. So I was really upset because I'm only 3 floors up, and I think I need to get to 5 floors to where I wanted to be. Yeah, so I was looking into doing mods to expand that, but I found there are mods to expand your build capacity. But I'm curious how, if anyone who's played on a console, I'm on the Xbox One, how those go for it, and how like destroyed can your game get with how much you build on it. If there's any experience of that'd be appreciated. Because I want to finish the main story, but I want to also building this fortress. I don't want to crash my game, so I know I could always download it and try it and just have some saves backed up, but I don't want to go through the pain. Anyway, I'll leave it at that, and thanks again, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. I look forward to listening.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jeremy. Again, another great feedback coming from you, buddy. Jeremy has been on the show before, so we will gladly welcome him back in the future. That's great, Jeremy. A couple of ideas I have. Ray, did you have anything right off the bat that stuck out that you wanted to mention?
So as far as his build limit thing goes, I have seen a trick where you take everything out of your workbench and drop it on the ground, and then start up the workbench and then store everything back in the workbench again. And so evidently that kicks some kind of glitch that'll reduce your build size.
Is it store? Is there store or scrap it?
Store it.
You store. Okay, so I've seen it done with just guns. Will it work with any item in your workbench?
I've never had to do it because I never build that much, but
and plus you're on PC anyway, so you can just like mod your way out of whatever you want to. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Juan is the one who introduced it to the group a long ass time ago. But Jeremy, Ray is absolutely correct. There is a method where I've only done it with my guns, but you go and you take out all of your guns from your bench, just like Ray said. I'm sitting here repeating exactly what Ray just said. I've just done it with guns. Take all your guns out. put them in your inventory, walk away from the workbench and find a nice flat area where you're not going to lose anything. Then drop all of those guns that you just picked up, not the ones in your inventory that you want to keep, though, just the ones that you picked up. And then go into build mode, like he just said. Go into that build mode crazy menu thing and store all of those weapons back into the workbench, and you will see the meter in the top corner just melt down. I don't know why it does that, but as you store all of those things back into your workbench, that there's a weird like calculation that it's doing in your settlement that you're decreasing the amount of things in your settlement when you're not actually doing that. But yeah, so you can trick the workbench into working for you. You don't even need to add a mod or anything. It's just a weird little exploit that Juan shouted out to us, a year or two ago by now. It's been a long time, but I remember running into that problem too. Oh, and he's at Grey Garden. Is that the one with the robots, right? With the overpass highway going by?
Yep. Yeah, you can build up to up on top of the overpass.
He says he wants to go 5 levels. I say go up like 13 or whatever it is up to that overpass, man. I think that's the highest in the game, isn't it? That might be the...
Yeah, seems to me that's what that one was.
Yeah, I think it's you won that settlement. That you should see if you can build a nice tower all the way up, because I think that's the tallest you can go in the game. That'd be sweet. Post some pictures in the group, of course. We'd like to see all these crazy settlements. Yeah, Ted Finch used to post all these crazy ass settlements that he used to build. So I always like looking at the cool things that everyone built. So yeah, post some pictures of that after you get your tower all the way up to that overpass, Jeremy. That's pretty sweet.
Couple of spray and pray.
Yeah, I was just about to say a couple of notes here. Cricket and a spray and pray. Spray and pray is great. Also the kiloton rifle from Far Harbor, I believe, is also, it's got that explosive, but it adds radiation damage on top, so it's just even more brutal. If you like spray and pray, go visit the kiloton rifle. But spray and pray is a 45 submachine gun, and the kiloton rifle is a 45 combat rifle. I kind of prefer the combat rifle. Does the submachine gun also come in a 10 millimeter variety? I thought there was another ammunition that came in that submachine gun.
No, you can get a 10 millimeter auto pistol, but no, the submachine gun's only 45.
That's always 45. Okay, I thought that was 40 or 10 millimeter for some reason. And yeah, I'd always use that. I'd save my 45 ammo and use that in a combat rifle. I don't know. I always prefer the combat rifle. Jeremy said he likes that Galaxy Zone. I think that's a big unanimous thumbs up. A lot of people really like the Galaxy Zone as far as having a preferred section of the park. A lot of people like that one. I really do too. Especially the Vault Tech Among the Stars section where they have the cool walkways. That looks like you're walking into the future. I love that.
Yeah, those are trippy.
Yeah. Why do the heads explode, Ray?
So when you put the fusion cores in, it doesn't actually tell you how many you put in. It'll just let you keep putting them in. So if you're not counting yourself, if you're just hitting the E key to kick stuff into this power box, you can put the 4th core in, and the 4th core is what will blow their heads off.
So does it give you some sort of indicator before you do that somewhere? Is there a plaque that says add star cores to start the ride, but be careful, don't add 4?
No, the instructions are to add 3.
Okay. But it doesn't say don't add 4. It just says just add 3.
Yep. So
he accidentally misread or didn't read those instructions. There's a terminal, I'm assuming, nearby, probably.
No, it's the Dara talks to you and tells you that that it needs fusion cores, and so then you get one of the little notification bubbles that pop up that say to install 3 fusion cores.
Nice. See, it's been such a long time since I played it. Good thing you're here, Ray.
But it's a it's definitely pretty wild.
So, okay, you add 3, everyone's having a good time.
Yeah, so one of the
Add 4, everyone dies.
Yeah. So one of them does mention that she's feeling sick. It's Tula Spinny.
Spinny. You should love it.
Well, and all of them have wheel reference names. All the hubologists do.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, she says, I think I'm going to puke. And then if you've got 4 if you have 4 fusion cores in there,
she wishes she
explodes. Yeah.
She wishes she was only puking at that point.
Yep.
So Mackenzie in the market there, you can evidently get to her to, or is it him? It's a her, right?
Her. No, it's her.
Go to Mackenzie to start the revolt against all the raiders and free the slaves.
Yeah.
Can you get those collars off of them eventually?
I'm not certain. I've never done it.
Man, because that would be first and foremost. I thought that I'd freed everyone, and then I went back later. I think they're still all wearing their slave collars. I'm like, I don't know if they're. I think they need to get rid of those. If I were them, I'd hop out of the thing first and foremost, right? But they were saying that it was one of the factions of raiders there. Did they miss an opportunity to write a little bit of the Legion back into Fallout 4? The slave trade and all that? Isn't that the Legion thing? Isn't that
yeah.
I think that they missed a little opportunity there. They could have written a little slave trade Legion action in there.
Yeah.
He's about to go build that Ray to hop into the Institute. He's not through the main quest yet. Jeremy, I'm interested to know if you haven't spoiled yourself and looked ahead to see what is coming up. How far do you think you are in the main quest right now? Because I remember being where you are and thinking I was a certain percentage of the way through the main quest, and I was completely incorrect. So I'm curious to know where you think you are. Percentage-wise through the main quest at this point. But he still needs to go visit I almost said Victor. Go visit Virgil. go visit that mutant Victor down in the glowing sea there. So good luck with that, Jeremy. That's really awesome. Get down that build cap at Grey Garden, pick up all that stuff, store it back in there. That should get your build meter down. Mackenzie, I'm glad you checked in with her and cleaned up all of Nuka World. Have fun getting that Ray built and going into the Institute. This is you're getting into a really fun part of the game. So keep us posted, buddy. Even though the roundtable will be drawing to a close here pretty soon, let's keep hearing with this character until you get through all that main quest. Keep us posted. Ray, so do you have anything else on the feedback that we've heard this evening?
No, I think that's about it.
All right. Well, we need you real quick here, Ray, before we sign off for the evening. We need you to describe for us a little bit about what we're going to do with the Fallout New Vegas roundtable starting next season with the generator that you've created. I will tip off everyone now on the podcast, everyone in the YouTube who are watching live. Big shout out to Wendy, Sarah, and Sean. Thanks everyone for checking in live on the YouTube chat. They got this news days and days before you people did who are just listening to this on podcast. But our character generator is up for the New Vegas now. So if you just go to asapodcasting.com, click through to the Fallout feed section, the Fallout feed page there. It says Fallout New Vegas random character generator right there. under the icon there. So check out our Fallout New Vegas random character generator. And Ray, what do we need to know about it? It just seems like we just need to refresh a few times and let it roll. What anything else we need to know?
Nope, that's about it. It's going to give you the sex of your character, the faction that you side with. It'll give you your special stats. It will randomly assign traits, which in the game you have the option of doing no traits, one trait, or two traits. So the random generator will give you those options. It'll either come up with none for both, if you don't have to assign any traits, or it'll give you the options. One of the options that we threw in was the player's choice. So if you have that come up in your role, then you get to pick what trait you want to assign. In Fallout New Vegas, the traits have good benefits and some detriments to them. So
Yeah.
they're kind of balanced out. So they're not they're not necessarily going to, if you get two of them, you're not going to be an overpowered character, because there'll also be some downside to them.
My favorite example, for those of you who haven't played, I've only just minimally played New Vegas a little bit. I've dropped it back in, and I'm starting to try to test it out a little bit in order to get ready for the roundtable. But my favorite example of a trait having a positive and a negative effect is that I like taking the one, and I forget what it's called right offhand, that gives you 20% better accuracy, but you shoot 20% slower. And they also have the inverse of that trait available, where you shoot 20% faster, but your accuracy drops by 20%. So I kind of like that sort of that sort of perk system. That's kind of interesting to do. And in that case, I always like to take the higher accuracy and the slower speed. Ray, do you ever take that one? Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I don't remember the name of them, but no, I usually the only trait I've ever taken is Wild Wasteland,
And
just because that's just so darn.
I've heard that's insane. So
it makes crazy things happen during the game.
I've heard that. Can you reveal a little bit about what crazy things mean?
Then we also assign tag skills. So those are the skills that you get extra points in. And then your companion.
Okay, so the tag skills are, I don't remember how many are there. They're like 18 or 20. And it's like barter, speech, science, I don't know, like those different categories that aren't the special categories. You know what I mean? Guns, energy weapons is probably one. I bet you explosives is probably one. All of that stuff.
Yeah, and we've got it completely random. So actually, the role that's up there right now, your tag skills are explosive, guns, and melee weapons. So
that'd be great combat character. Holy cow!
Yep. And actually, the specials work out pretty good for a combat character too, because it's a strength of 10 and an endurance of 10.
Heck yeah, roll with that, man. That's great.
But what your charisma is 4 and your intelligence is 1. So one of the interesting things, so if you've listened to Pat's Let's Play at all, you'll hear every once in a while some of the dialogue options. And so if your intelligence is 1, it kicks off a bunch of just crazy, stupid dialogue for your character. And it's pretty hilarious.
Oh, that's great. And I've been enjoying Pat's Let's Play New Vegas. So this has been a great lead in. Pat has finished the main quest a while back, and he's just coming back off of his summer break for the New Vegas Let's Play. So
yeah, well, he hasn't finished the main quest yet.
Oh, really? I thought
No, he got he got to the break point where there's no playing anybody to the middle. He's all or nothing now. But then he popped off and did the
some
couple of DLCs.
Yeah.
And so now he's just getting back into finishing up on that main quest line.
Great. So everybody tune into Pat's Let's Play. Also can be found on our same podcast feed as this show. Again, thank you to Wendy, Sarah, and Sean in the YouTube chat. Anything else we need to know about the roundtable? We've still got some planning to do, and the schedule is getting hammered out slowly here. But we're looking for a start, maybe sometime in late August. It could be early September, sometime in that time frame. So, everybody, go out and get yourself a copy of New Vegas. Start getting geared up for this season 4 of the roundtable. We're all pretty excited about New Vegas. It has quite a reputation as a game. I've never played it. 4 is, of course, my first Fallout game. So I'm excited because it has quite a reputation. Everybody, not everybody, but lots of people will claim it as the best in the series. So I'm excited to give it a whirl. It'll be great. Ray, one last thing is I'll mention before we leave here. We're going to sign off and check in with the latest episode of King of the Bunker Hill. But before we do that, I just wanted to mention I happened to grab myself a Nintendo Switch recently, and I really want to start a NASCAR style, or I don't even know what kind of style, but Mario Kart League. So if there's anybody out there who loves to play Mario Kart and has the new Nintendo Switch, we're trying to start up a little ASA podcasting Mario Kart League. So anybody out there who has any interest in that, I know Shalene expressed interest and Jeremy already expressed interest. So you guys are interested, hit us up on the Facebook group or on Twitter. We're at the Fallout Feed on Twitter, Facebook group. We've got the email, thefalloutfeed@gmail.com, and all the usual places you can find us. So Mario Kart League on the Switch, if you guys want to do that, that's great.
I have to see if I can get that to run on my PC.
God, is it possible to do that with Nintendo games? I don't know. Can you figure out how to pirate that?
I doubt it.
Yeah, who knows?
Probably not legally.
No, definitely not legally. The Nintendo doesn't want anybody to have any fun on their dime. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, Ray, is there any closing thoughts before we check in with Ray versus Kara, King of the Bunker Hill, episode 7?
No, I think looking forward to the wrap up and over the next couple of episodes. And Nuka World's been a lot of fun. I purposefully held off on playing any of it before so that I could die a lot for the roundtable.
Yeah, that's always great. Yeah, see stuff with fresh eyes is a really great way to give a good impression of it. So that's awesome, and I've enjoyed hearing your character's playthrough. We're not quite done. We have a couple of tales from the Commonwealth quest to get through and everything. So we're excited to continue our quest, but we are drawing near the end. And Ray, thank you for joining us this season, and thank you for joining me this evening. We will go ahead and sign off and play the closing song. But everyone, you can please stay tuned for the next edition of King of the Bunker Hill. Ray, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
You betcha.
And everyone, we will see you in the wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this edition of Let's Play Fallout, presented by the Fallout Feed and ASA Podcasting. The show can be contacted by reaching out to thefalloutfeed@gmail.com for the Fallout Roundtable schedule, the random character generator spreadsheet, our Amazon link, and all other network information. Please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, My Journey with Cystic Fibrosis, ASC Game Talk, Let's Play Skyrim, The Chatterbox, Earwash Show, ASA Modcast, a 12-hour charity stream to benefit CFF.org, our YouTube channel, plus other great content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland. Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, the Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
Live from Vault 97, it's the King of the Bunker Hill Quiz Show Challenge. It's the show where contestants compete to come back week after week to see who can collect the most Funko mystery minifigures. Brought to you by the Fallout Feed and ASA Podcasting. And now, your host, Susan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls. Welcome to the show that sets out to find out who is the most wizened soul in all of the wasteland. It is, of course, time for Who is the King of the Bunker Hill. Tonight, we have last show's winner, Ray. How are you feeling, Ray?
Doing great. Thank you.
Excellent. You're storming. How many have you won now on the trots? Do you know off the top of your head?
I believe it was 3.
3 in a row. I think that might make you our current champion, so well done, Ray. But we have a new challenger for you tonight. She is an exceptional person. I've been reading her CV with great interest. We have Cara. Hello, Cara. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I am excellent. And I've heard that you are a rare breed Brahmin farmer. Now, would you like to tell me a little bit how you got into that? And is it profitable at all?
Well, the real profit is actually, in the heart. It's more of a rewarding kind of experience rather than something that's just purely business. There's just something that kind of melts my heart when I look into those soft 4 Brahmin eyes staring back at me.
Oh, I can imagine. And do you get your real satisfaction providing people with the food that they need, but obviously of a much better quality than regular Brahmin?
Well, of course, if you love on your Brahmins, they're going to love you back, and their meat is just going to be that much more tender.
That's excellent. I'm glad to hear that, old-fashioned farming just hasn't gone out of style out there in the wasteland. Anyway, without further ado, I think it's time to get on to the quiz. So last time we'll keep the winner, who was Ray. You're going to go into the booth for me now. So you know the routine by now. So if you jump on in there, take off your headphones, and just give us a signal when you're ready. And Cara, get yourself pumped and get yourself in the zone, because we're about to go. Oh, I think that's it. Ray is saying a goodbye to us now. Is he? He is ready. Okay, Cara, how are you feeling? You ready?
I am pumped. I'm going to win this one for little Betty.
Excellent. Have you got the eye of the tiger, the fall of the eagle, various other?
Brahmin.
Yeah, the horn of the Brahmin. Excellent. Cara has the horn. Okay, so question 1. What is the name of the hotel in Good Neighbor in Fallout 4?
Good Neighbor. Hotel. No. I wanted to call it Hotel Rutherford, but it's Hotel Rexford.
That is correct. It is indeed the Hotel Rexford. Well done. Okay, so you're 1 for 1. Right, question 2. Who is the Minutemen tech guy in Fallout 4?
Oh, shoot.
Any ideas?
I am drawing a blank on him. I'm looking at him in my mind's eye, but
I mean, he's one of the least
let's go with-
intrusive tech guys, but you know, he's a good one.
he's sassy. I know that much.
Yeah, he's.
All right, I know it's wrong, but let's go with Brian. That is so wrong, but
I'm afraid that Brian is incorrect. The correct answer is, yeah, that's it, the buzzer going. It is the correct answer is Sturgis.
Sturgis,
yeah.
that's right.
Okay, that's okay. You know, it's 1-0. It's fine. All right, question 3. Which experimental weapon can be found locked in the Overseer's chambers of Vault 111 at the beginning of Fallout 4?
It's not the. It's the cryo gun.
Close. Can you give me a sort of bit better name? You're sort of there.
Okay, cryo. Okay, cryo gun. If it's not cryo, then
You're sort of there with because you're going the right tracks.
All right, thinking of the kind of kitschy name,
Yep.
cryo.
Yeah, you got it. It's Cryolator. There you
Oh
go.
my god, really?
It is the Cryolator. Okay, let's say you were mostly there. You know, you just need to be pushed in the right direction. Okay, so you know that's 2 out of 3. It's good so far. Question 4. Who is the leader of the Church of the Children of Atom on Far Harbor Island?
I want to say, is it no? No, that's a different game.
It's not no. There is a name.
Yeah.
Just throw something out there. Anything at all.
I want to say.
I don't even know how to give you a clue for this one. I'm going to be honest. It's
Cromwell.
You know, oddly enough, Cromwell is kind of on the right path, but I really can't push you any further than that. In a weird sort of way, Cromwell does work, if you know your British history.
Then I'm going to have to give this one up.
Okay.
Because I can't.
No worries. The correct answer is High Confessor Tectus.
Tectus, that's right.
I know. That was a difficult question, and whoever wrote the quiz this week, you know, it's okay. We're all here for you, and whatever hurt you, we can make it better. Okay, so question 5. We all know Fallout's 1 to 4 plus Fallout New Vegas. Can you name for me one other game in the Fallout series? Any other game in the Fallout series?
There's the Fallout mobile app, but I don't think that counts as the name.
It might do.
Fallout Shelter.
Yes, that is a correct answer. So there you go. Apparently your options were, or according to the minds, Tactics, Brotherhood of Steel, Shelter, and then games that were cancelled: Van Buren, Online, Tactics 2, Brotherhood of Steel 2, Extreme, Torn, Pen, and Pen and Paper D20. So there were many games. So well done, Shelter. Even though many people don't class it as a game, it is, and it's not. It really isn't. It is apparently classed as canon. So there you go. All right. So that's pretty good. So how many did we get there? So we got 3 out of 5. I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to give you the tiebreaker question though, Cara, because it's a lot of fun. And honestly, I wouldn't know. But all I expect for you in this one is give me a ballpark figure, and whoever gets the closest wins.
Okay.
So here is the tiebreaker question. Including published games, how many Fallout game titles have reached at least in development status? So by giving you the answer, I've obviously read a few, but there might be more, there might be less.
I'm going to go with lucky number 7.
Okay, lucky number 7. Okay, I won't be telling you the answer for this one though until we get Ray back. So, Cara, you can obviously stay now and listen to the second to Ray's go. But can we call Ray back in from the soundproof booth, please, little Andrew bot?
Boop boop boop.
Yes, thank you, Andrew bot. Good work as always. Now have we got Ray back? Is he coming out of the booth?
Okay.
Oh, Ray is out of the booth, people. Okay, Ray, Cara did well in the last round. So, you really are having to up your gamesmanship this week, I have to tell you. So, are you ready?
Amounts every week.
It does. Because, the competitive standard's always high, but I think it's just edging higher every time we do this. So, okay, Ray, are you ready?
I'm ready.
You're in the Fallout zone. Excellent. Okay, question 1. What is the name of the hotel in Good Neighbor in Fallout 4?
Rexford.
That is correct. And ladies and gentlemen, he's doing it again, straight out of the gate. Okay, that is correct. So, 1 for 1. Question 2. Who is the Minuteman tech guy in Fallout 4?
Sturgis?
That is correct. 2 for 2. Okay, excellent. See, this guy's a champion, people. All right, question 3. Which experimental weapon can be found locked in the Overseer's chambers of Vault 111 at the beginning of Fallout 4?
Cryolator.
That is correct. No hesitation whatsoever. This is impressive stuff, Ray. Question 4. Who is the leader of the Church of the Children of Atom on Far Harbor Island?
Texas.
Can you give me his full title? Sort of religious-y.
Yeah. Father Texas?
Not quite, but I think I'm gonna have to give that to you because that's Texas. I wouldn't have got anywhere close to that. So there you go. That's that one. So that's correct. It's actually High Confessor Texas. This is his full title. All right, that's good. A little bit of a wobble there, but let's get on to question 5. Seeing if we can make it another clean sheet for you, Ray. We all know Fallout 1 to 4 plus Fallout New Vegas. Name for me one other game in the Fallout series.
Fallout Tactics.
That is correct. Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay, that is 5 for 5. Let's give you the tiebreaker. You never know. This could be quite important. So the tiebreaker question is, including published games, how many Fallout game titles have reached at least in development status?
Eight.
Okay. All right. Well, Cara, Ray, I'm sorry to say, Cara, but you are not this week's winner. You got 3 out of 5, and Ray once again storming to victory with 5 out of 5. But I'm sure this is the bit you really want to know. What was the answer to the tiebreak question? Cara, you gave me 7. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that is correct. And Ray, you obviously, not knowing what Cara gave, you cheekily gave 8. I can tell you the correct answer to including published games, how many Fallout game titles have been reached at least development status. The answer is 17. So There you go. Yeah. Okay, so we've had 17. So, well, congratulations, Ray, once again. You are proving yourself to be the absolute juggernaut in this tournament. Cara, thank you very much for coming. How are you feeling? Obviously, you did great, though. 3 out of 5 is really good.
I'm feeling pretty good, actually. I mean, I learned a lot while playing the game, but also, it was kind of neat watching Ray just kind of blow through all the questions. That was pretty cool.
It's always good seeing a pro go through the stuff, isn't it? And but I mean, realistically, okay, so you didn't get the little funky pop vinyl figure, but you can realistically go back to your Brahmins and take good care of them and have a nice story to tell them.
I sure will.
Yeah, I think they'll like that. You tell them the tale of Vault 97 and your time on King of Bunker Hill. But in the meantime, congratulations again to Ray, who will we be seeing next time. So yeah, big round of applause to Ray. Thank you so much, Cara, for coming on. You're an excellent and really good fun competitor. So I hope to see you out there a bit more in the wasteland. So that is the end of today's show, listeners. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you tune in next time for more King of the Bunker Hill, brought to you by the Fallout Feed and ASA Podcasting. Take care.
Thank you for listening to this edition of the King of the Bunker Hill Quiz Show Challenge, brought to you by the Fallout Feed and ASA Podcasting. Join Susan next time to see who will win the coveted Funko Mystery Minifigures and be crowned King of the Bunker Hill.